welcome to the Sharon and Joe Show. My name is Sharon.
Hi, everybody. My name's Joe.
So I have Joe here with me. It's been just about a month, I think,
Almost
since you were
a
on
month.
the show. Yeah, because we did the Christmas special, and then we did our Christmas Eve. Well, I guess not Christmas Eve, but it was a few days before Christmas, and we did Twas the Narc before Christmas.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. 2 years in a row we've done that, so who knows what we'll do next year, right?
Yeah, well, we have to do it. We got to do that every year at least.
Yeah,
to
that's
Paul,
true.
but-
Actually, you guys, I had forgotten. Well, I had it saved to my computer, and I must have deleted it. I don't know. So we had to redo it over. So we're listening to it and adding to it. And who knows, maybe we might improvise something even better next year.
Yeah, hopefully so.
So, Joe, it's been a while since you've been on the channel. I've been on regularly, but we don't hear a lot from you. I did mention that you were struggling a little bit with some things. Did you want to talk about that? Or we can just talk about whatever you want, actually.
Yeah, I'm open to whatever you want to. It's been a tough month. It's been almost a full entire month that I haven't worked, and it's been very, very difficult since I got laid off. I had some side jobs and stuff to keep me busy. Miraculously, had enough work to have the bills pretty much in order through April 1st. So, that part is bad, but, you get to a point where you want to start rebuilding after you get out of the entanglement with the narcissist. And the whole time I was doing the inner work on myself as well. And you think, that you're released from this curse, and then life happens. And sometimes life, deals you a crappy card. Not all the time, is it a tragedy? It's more of an inconvenience, and how we respond to those inconveniences, I guess, tell us who we are as people. But it's definitely been a struggle for me this last month.
Well, I think too, it's also kind of how you are inside before the narcissist too, like who you are as a person, doing the inner work, and then coming out the other side. And I almost feel like in some ways you get to decide who you are this time, but at the same time, when you have I think like between the two of us, you have more of a negative attitude, not like horrible, but I'm more of an optimist. So I think when it comes down to it, sometimes it's easier for you to go the opposite way that I go, and then I feel like we're in a different place, I guess.
Well, I think our set points are different.
Yeah.
For me, I have to work to find gratitude and to be appreciative. It's not a set point for me.
Yeah.
That with my with getting laid off of work, and then on top of like a physical ailment that's kind of set me back a little bit, it's been real difficult because this physical ailment may take quite some time to, resolve.
Yes, it hasn't been that great of a time, but we still try throughout it all to make sure that the kids are okay, to make sure that we're doing okay and that we're moving forward. It just, I don't know, sometimes it just seems like you don't move forward the way that you want to, or the way that you think you should be able to.
Well, I have to ask myself, what power do I have?
Yeah.
I have the power to have a good attitude. I have the power to little baby steps here and there, things I could do to make my day better. And it is in God's time, but it's also like a two-way relationship you're building with God. I try my best to stay out of the way. What I mean by that is when my fears, come in and I'm too much in my head. So there's things that I do to get out of my head. Usually it's either helping somebody else out, being a part of my recovery group, exercising and things like that. But yeah, it's a hell of a lot better than what it was when I was with the narcissist. That's absolutely for sure. And that in itself speaks volumes for me.
I think sometimes it's difficult when, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I feel almost like not that life is a game, but that, I guess sort of. What I mean by that is it seems like after you've had something bad happen to you, it almost feels like to yourself that you deserve something good happening now. And then when something good doesn't happen, it almost feels like, hey, this isn't fair. This isn't the way it's supposed to be.
That's part of the battle you have
Yeah.
to battle with. And, I've learned to ask myself on multiple occasions, okay, Joe, is this an inconvenience or is it a catastrophe? And thank God, 9 out of 10 times, it's just an inconvenience. But yeah, it's been an uphill battle. It's really frustrating because I knew very early on that the narcissist was only part of the problem. The big part of the problem was me and my attitude and how I thought about myself, my codependence, my low self-esteem. So I wasn't left in the dark with that. Those are things that I worked on. And it wasn't so much like after this divorce, I finally was just like, okay, I'm on stable ground, and now it's up to me to start getting to where I want to go. And then a week after, I seen a doctor, and as I said, I had a physical disability that I'm dealing with right now, and the news wasn't really good. And having to overcome that and walk through the fear was it's a difficult thing, but I'm doing little things here and there to be as productive as I can throughout the day. You know, I belong to a recovery group, so I go to a meeting every morning, very early on in the morning, and then I go to the gym. Then I'm doing resumes. I got my feelers out there and stuff. It's just the winter times for me are kind of tough. It's dark. It's you know, it gets light at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it gets dark at 4, and it's just it's crappy weather. You know, it's just like you're battling a whole bunch of things. The cards seem like they're stacked against you. But you know, having you as my best friend, and having other people, like, my perspective isn't always clear, you know, and I'm glad that I trust the people that are closest to me to say, okay, like, this isn't how I think sometimes, and how I see things isn't really reality the way it feels, and feelings are facts. So I keep all that in mind, but I try to add something a little bit here and there every week within my day to make it more productive.
I actually think that you do a better job than you always think you do. Because sometimes, like, if Joe's really in, like, a down mood, it starts, like, I don't know if panicking me is the right word, but it starts affecting me. And then I feel like I have this, like when Joe has an issue, right, a lot of times he likes to think about it and be by himself. I always kind of go the opposite way if I have an issue. How many times, Joe, have I been upset about something, and then I'll end up snapping at you because you're not giving me exactly what I want. And then it's like the same thing. Like you'll have something, you know, have an issue, and I'm not giving you exactly what you want. Just like, you know what I mean? You'll try to give me what you would want. I try to give you what I would want.
We want each other's love languages. Our love languages, we want the other one to speak all the time.
Yeah,
you know, for
exactly.
me, I naturally kind of push away, and I need time to assimilate and sort it through and kind of let it run through the gamut, and process it, so that, you know, I'm not being a jerk to somebody else because of my own insecurities and my shortcomings, so that I can understand that and be more conscious about it. You know, and you, on the other hand, I think sometimes, like, you want the comfort and you want to share with your issues. Or me, I'm pretty much the opposite.
Yeah, it is like I think we're better at that now, like, as we've gotten used to it. But I always think also that you do a lot more than you think you do, because you're always, the thing about Joe is that, you know, sometimes, a lot of times Joe will say, oh, you know, like, you have a better attitude, but that comes easy. The part that comes hard is really pushing through when you're not feeling well. I don't do a very good job at that. Like, my natural set point is, say, higher than yours, but when I'm not feeling good, I don't know. Like, I get in a bad place quickly. When you're in a bad place, you might stay there longer than I wish you would, but you're doing work there. Like, how many times have you said to me, yeah, you know what, it's not as bad as it seems because I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, or I'm getting up and going to my meeting. And those are huge things that are hard to do when that's really the last thing that you feel like doing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy, and that's one thing. It's like my energy is low. What I've learned, though, is that the energy is kind of like a momentum. It's like I think of it like a snowball going down a hill and turning into an avalanche. Mm. So the more that I can do that's constructive, even though I'm exerting more energy to do those things, it somehow creates a momentum where it gives me more energy to do even more things, as opposed to sitting on a couch all day doing nothing. You would think that person has all this rusted energy, yeah, and they could do all kinds of stuff where they're just drained, because it's like energy creates its own momentum.
Well, you know, actually, I can tell them a story. So I had put in the community page that Joe had redone Paris's bedroom for her. So he painted it, he did all this stuff. So we weren't expecting, or Paris wasn't expecting him to start her room on whatever day it was. She sends me this text, right? I'm at work, and she's like, I think Joe's gonna start my room today. I think so. And about 15 minutes later, she's like, he's definitely doing this. And she had like a picture she had taken of you, like taking her whole bed apart. Like when you're ready to go, you are ready to go.
Yeah.
You had, I mean, I don't even know if you know this. It was so funny. She's like, first it's like, I think, and then next thing you know, it's like basically the whole thing's done. And she's like moving stuff everywhere. And
Yeah, I definitely, sometimes I have, I guess, maybe the fault of being a human doing instead of a human being, and I'm not always present. However, I do try to make sure that the people around me are taken care of and they know that they're loved in some kind of way, you know?
Oh, Joe, you do way better than you give yourself credit for. But yeah, so I grabbed Joe, brought him over here, thought he would say hi to me, say hi to you guys since it's been a little while. Do you have anything interesting that you want to say? Any wise tidbits to leave us with?
No, not really. I think it's still, it would be important to start doing this more consistently to keep me accountable. You know, I always use the channel in a selfish way, almost like to be accountable, to stay accountable to who I am and what I say. And of course, I'm looking to help somebody else out, but it does help me out. You know, even in the back of my head on a Wednesday, I'm like, okay, Joe, well, you know, you got to stay positive and do some good stuff because you're going to be talking, you know, this weekend for Monday's video. So it's good for me. You know, I'm just going to keep on going in spite of how I feel. Just put one foot in front of the other. It's a hell of a lot better than where I was towards the end of that entanglement with the narcissist during this divorce. It was horrible.
You know, also another thing I should add is that you and I, you know, in our private talks, things are better too, like in all areas of our lives, like individually, together, the kids, like things are going better. We have some real reason to feel like there could possibly be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I'm still, you know, once this issue is going on with me, with my health and like the physical part of a surgery that I may or may not have, whatever the case is, I'm hoping to get to a point where I could finally be able to embrace that new freedom and happiness. And in the meantime, does it hinder me? Yes. But does it paralyze me? No. If you know, if I'm being honest with myself, of course it hinders me, it affects me. I just don't let it paralyze me because, man, when I get complacent or I'm not moving, it's either sink or swim.
Well, I can tell you guys that I know Joe hasn't been here every week, and I've told you that he's struggling a little bit, but he really does put the effort forth, and I know there's going to come a day very soon where Joe comes on and he's like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm swimming right now. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good. And I am anyways. I'm not treading water. I'm moving forward, and I always look at like the point of reference where I was last winter, towards the end of that divorce, and all the threats and all the financial issues and all the fear and the terror.
You know, that's true, isn't it? Like, we don't have that in our life anymore.
No.
Like, there's not like the fear that, oh no, you know, like my ex is going to do something. Yours might do something. That's true, actually.
I had a close friend tell me one time, he said, Joe, if you ever have a problem, I don't ever want to hear you blame it on somebody else. It was like, if you have a problem, make damn sure it's your own, because if it is, then you have a chance of doing something about it, making the change.
100%. I agree with that. And I think sometimes people put themselves in positions they're not really in because it's hard to feel like a victim. If you're a victim, there's nothing you can do about it. But I like how he said that. If you're the one, you take care of your own problems and you can get through your own problems. No one else can.
Yeah, the recovery is definitely, like the meetings and stuff like that, my recovery support group for alcohol, it definitely helps me out. It definitely reminds me of, okay, I have some power. Like, I do need God in this for sure, but I do have a little bit of control over my attitude, and maybe not so much the things that happen to me, but how I respond to those things is what determines a man from a boy.
Well, Joe and I are reading this book right now. Was it Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl? I think that's the name of the book. It's by Viktor Frankl. And that was one of the points he made in it, where you can't always choose what situation you're in or what happens to you, but you're the only one that can decide how you react to it, how you respond to it. And that's just fantastic advice, because it's true. Bad things can happen, but it's up to you how you react to it, you know? And sometimes I felt, oh, this has happened to me for sure. For me, I can fake it till I make it, and I think that helps me. You know what I mean? Because if I started doing this with my kids, right? The whole thing was just starting to come to a bad place, right? When I kicked my ex out and had Child Protective Services involved, and it was just a bad time. I was able to smile with the kids, even though that was the absolute last thing I felt like doing it. but it gave me minutes, you know what I mean? And sometimes that was what I needed that day, minutes of feeling okay, you know, and then maybe it would be a half hour. It did work as time went on. And now, not always, I mean, you've seen me really down before, but in general, nowadays, I am able to choose my attitude, I guess, under most circumstances.
Yeah, there was a point where I think it was so chemically, like, I was just so whacked from, like, being in a state of hypervigilance, like part of the symptom of my CPTSD, that it wasn't a choice. It was just there, like, chemically. However,
Oh, I think that's definitely true. Yeah.
However, it's loosens this grip. It's loosened this grip where it's like I do have now the power to choose. Do I want to make the most of what I have right now, or do I just want to fall to the wayside and be a victim?
And you know what? And it's not like things are so bad, but you guys know how it is. When you've had a lot of bad things happen to you, you really do just feel, like I said earlier in the video, it's my time. It's my time not to have these things, you know, to not be the person that always has a problem.
It sucks, man, because for me, it's not even that. It's like, my goal isn't even to be happy. I just want to be okay. Like, just let me have, like, a few days in a row where I could just be okay. Like, that's all I want, you know, and that's all I'm desperately looking for. And, you know, but there's hope there. It's not false hope because I've experienced it before in my life. It's just right now I'm working my way out of the desert, and the promised land's in sight. It's just having enough faith to stay out of the way so God can continue to carry me.
Well, they always say, right, faith, hope, and love. I don't know exactly where this is in the Bible. Is it 2
Corinthians, I think.
Okay, you're probably right. Faith, hope, and love, but the grace of these is love, and I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
All right, guys, so I will see you on Wednesday. I just wanted to have Joe say a quick little hello, and I will see you on Wednesday. And I still have to get Paris on the channel because we are going to do a little celebration and give away her book. So keep an eye out for that. I hope you guys are all doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for your prayers, guys. Have a good week.